Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be discussing 3 keys to profitable service delivery. This webinar is directed at client accounting service firms. So let's dive in and talk about 3 ways that you can provide these types of client accounting services to your clients in a way that is profitable to the firm. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Laura Redmond. I run a client accounting services firm. We have remote staff. We're based in Northern California, but we have staff in different locations, in different states even. We primarily offer controller services. We're acting as our clients' accounting departments. So we do the year-round accounting, such as paying bills, payroll, all that sort of stuff, keeping the general ledger through month-end close. All of our clients are on QuickBooks Online, so we are totally web-based. We have multiple clients and multiple staff and multiple services to perform at various frequencies. So we're juggling those 3 pieces. And our goal, of course, is to deliver quality to our clients and profitability to the firm. So I'm also a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. Our practice is primarily focused on QuickBooks Online and the ecosystem of apps that go along with it. But today's discussion certainly applies to any client accounting services firm, whatever software product you're using and whatever services you're performing. But just to give you an idea for what I work with, I work closely with Intuit, writing the QuickBooks Online basic and advanced certification courses. So for any pro advisors out there, then you're familiar if you've gotten certified in QuickBooks Online with those 2 certification courses. And then I also travel with the Intuit Roadshow teaching QuickBooks Online to accounting professionals, and I will be teaching the Advanced QuickBooks Online certification coming up in October at Intuit's big annual event in San Jose, California called QuickBooks Connect. I will also, over the next weeks before QuickBooks Connect, I will be teaching advanced certification and some other advanced courses on the Woodard Boot Camp. You can Google that if you're interested in that. We're hitting up 5 cities around the country. And I will be teaching some QuickBooks Online courses there. So you can see my focus is on QuickBooks Online, but again, that's really, you can just take that as an example of any cloud-based accounting software if your firm uses a different one. We'll be talking a little bit about that today. So the third thing to know about me is that I'm also one of the co-creators of Arrow Workflow app, and we are bringing you this webinar. So we will talk a little bit today about workflow and this app and all the work we do behind it at Arrow Workflow. This is where all of my experience and knowledge and the experience and knowledge we've gained from our firm has all come together with the experience and knowledge of the partners that we all founded this Arrow Workflow together. We all run separate client accounting services firms. So in my accounting firm, we have different clients and tasks and due dates, all that stuff to juggle, right? And we work on some of the popular cloud-based apps for client accounting firms in QuickBooks Online and their ecosystem. So we need to have a handle on the workflow, or at least on our workload, or it would be chaos. So this is how Arrow was born. It was developed by accountants for accountants. And so these are the things just to sort of know about me as we get into this subject matter. Okay, so we'll start off with the first key to a profitable service delivery firm is, I'm going to start with the cloud. We've all heard this word before, the cloud. You may call it the web, the internet, whatever you want to call it, but that I'm referring to is using software that is not loaded on your desktop, rather it is accessed by an internet browser. So these cloud-based solutions are growing and growing in popularity and in capability. They're all now putting out lots of really cool features and becoming much more of a solution for many of us than they were in the early days. And so a lot of us, we accounting professionals, are finding that they streamline our work. And when you streamline your work, that can directly affect your profitability if it can reduce your labor costs or any other costs. Another point that the cloud is winning is that you may find that clients are adopting these solutions, these cloud-based solutions, on their own. because they have obvious benefits to them. And your client, you may find that clients or new prospects are coming to you and they already are in the cloud, or they want to be in the cloud and it's the first thing they're talking about. So if we want to stay relevant and be competitive, we need to know how to operate in the cloud. So the first key to profitable service delivery is to harness the power and efficiency of the cloud. So let's just run through these just to talk about them. And for many of us, we've worked in desktop software for a long, long time, and we love it. And so many of you may still be using desktop software as one of your tools in your firm, which is fine. I'm just saying here, don't ignore the cloud, because it's certainly, the writing is on the wall. It's certainly there in the future, and it has obvious savings, automation that leads to savings and therefore profitability. And when it's right for your firm, maybe you can even go all to the cloud. We did that in 2011. All of our clients are in QuickBooks Online, and we only accept new work from new clients where they are in the cloud or will go to the cloud. And then if someone has to be on desktop because of a feature set they need, or we pass on that, doing that work. So you just got to get there when you're ready for it with your firm. But let's run through some of the obvious benefits. So first of all, there's access to client data, right? The cloud gives us, no question, 24/7 access. You just have to have a computer and an internet browser. You can be working on the software at the same time as your client may be accessing it or logged into it. So you don't have to schedule with your client when they're going to be off of their computer so that you can log in remotely to their desktop computer. None of that, right? Just get on a browser, your client can be in it, your other staff can all be in the software at the same time. Each of you log in separately. And this allows you to hire a workforce that are not necessarily in your building, right? Because now your staff have this easy access to the accounting software or any of the other cloud-based apps you're using as your tools in your office. Also, you don't need to upgrade software or make sure that everyone is on the latest release of the software in order to access the database, because with cloud-based software, everyone is always on the same version. You just log into the software and you're looking at the latest version of it that's been released. You also don't need to make backups because this is done automatically. In the case of QuickBooks Online, for example, you're logging into their servers and they are automatically backing that up, and they're responsible for that. You also don't need to worry about local security of the data on any computers and worried whether any criminal is going to break into your office and steal your computer away, because this software is not located on your computer. When you get on the browser, you're accessing the server. So these software solutions, these cloud-based software solutions, most all of them, certainly do your research, but if it's one of the most popular and reputable ones, they employ the highest standards of web security, right? Like bank-level security. And when you have better access to your data and all these advantages that you bring by using cloud-based software, you're more likely to be an effective, strategic, trusted advisor to your clients, because you have much better capability to access their data, to talk about it with them, to view it when you need to work on it, just sort of take out all the hassle of accessing the information. So the second bullet point I have up here is the obvious advantage that the cloud brings us in automating work. So, well, for example, bank feeds. Bank feeds, you hook up the accounting software to the checking account or credit card account online, and it pulls in the bank feed of every transaction that's posted to the bank. So that allows the software to enter most of the data about the financial transaction for you, like the transaction date, the memo, the dollar amount, and that reduces labor, not having to enter that, and also reduces errors, because if it's entered just one time automatically fed from the bank, you're less likely to have typed it in incorrectly if you were typing it in by looking at a tiny little bank statement. The software also allows for certain types of features that are really bringing efficiency and automation to us. For example, in some cases, like QuickBooks Online, you can create an invoice in the accounting software and click to email it to the customer. The customer can receive it and click to pay you electronically, so you're receiving funds faster, or I should say your client, the company, is receiving funds faster. And they can, and that automation also not only receives funds faster into your bank account, but also records the customer's payment and the deposit for you, which automates, again, the labor of whoever the accounting staff was that's in charge of entering that. Now it's all automated. And again, when you reduce labor, you also reduce the error of doing something manually if there is a likelihood for error. When I hear businesses and prospects that come to us concerned about cloud-based software subscription fees, I generally explain to them or ask them to consider that these fees, these monthly software subscription fees, are much lower than the labor expense that they would be paying for humans to perform a lot of the work manually. So think about that and talk to your clients about that. Integrating apps with your core accounting software, or even just using just the core accounting software, which has so many automated features, is much more efficient when you're syncing with the apps in a cloud-based environment versus when you're using a desktop software and integrating that with other apps. When you're using the desktop software options out there, you often have to load on a sync engine. And when you're using cloud-based core accounting software and the apps that integrate with it, the sync itself to the cloud-based app is generally faster, and I have found that it has fewer errors to it than when you're integrating a desktop product with online apps. So anyway, that's something to think about, the cloud and all the automation it brings to us, because there's certainly savings there for us, and that increases our profitability. The cloud model also facilitates the fixed fee pricing model. Cloud solutions allow you, well, on the one hand, cloud solutions allow you to set up and manage automated recurring payments by your client. So here I'm talking about your firm and using some of the apps out there that allow you, cloud-based apps, that allow you to set up a recurring fee that will take the funds from your client's bank account and put it into your firm's bank account automatically at a regularly scheduled frequency, so that your firm's cash flow is consistent and you can forget dealing with receivables, right? So if you want to move to a fixed fee model, the cloud solutions out there allow you to do things like collect that fixed fee from your clients. Also, if you fix the price that you're charging to your clients, then you really want to make sure that you're going to control the costs. That now lays primarily in your court, that the client's not going to pay anymore. So you really want to have a nice, efficient workflow so that the cost to do the work is not going to have you losing money. And the better access you have to your client data, which is our bullet point number 1, and the more automation you bring of labor, changing manual processes into automated processes, this will reduce your costs, thereby improve profitability. And also, of course, the cloud is platform agnostic. On the hardware side, it doesn't matter if you're using a desktop computer, laptop, mobile devices. Most all of these cloud-based apps can be accessed from any of these types of devices. You can be working on your computer and jump over to a laptop. And you don't have to back up and restore and move the data to your laptop. You just jump on the browser and log in from there and keep going as you were. Also, operating system. Do you have clients? Some of them are on PC, some of them are on Mac, maybe some of them are even using Chromebooks. And they can all use these cloud-based apps because it doesn't matter what operating system they're using. They just need an internet browser, and it doesn't require loading local software onto a particular operating system. So many of us have worked for years using computers and desktop software to perform our accounting work. I know I started there 20 plus years ago, and even driving to clients' businesses. One particular client comes to mind for me every time I think about moving to the cloud, because it was one of the last clients that we had using the older model of desktop software and driving on site. Great client business, but the drive was ridiculous. Every week it was a long drive, long winding hills. So lost a few hours there every week. The office was in a basement, a very large professional space, but there was nothing special about it that contributed to me getting my work done. There's no reason that I couldn't do that work from anywhere. It's just that the computer with the desktop software loaded on it and the database of financial activity and the paperwork was all there. So it was just a very large space. One long wall was lined with filing cabinets. And somehow, you know, when you go on site doing accounting work, especially client accounting services, and it's a desktop-centric, paper-based type of process, somehow filing becomes part of the job. Even though they're paying a lot of money for my level of expertise, they still needed the documents to be organized, the supporting documents. So who else was going to do it? There were another couple of walls that were made up of shelving, and on these shelves were decades of desktop software. It was like a museum. Anyway, this is the visual I have. This is one of the last clients we would go on site for, and I just sort of keep that image with me, that desktop-centric, paper-based accounting system now juxtaposed against all of these awesome cloud-based solutions that were coming out in those years. And that was enough to make me declare that we were not going to waste profitability driving to access the data or working with the manual paper-based system that was so timely to keep organized and filed. So anyway, that's my experience and my tips for the number one key to a profitable service delivery, client accounting service delivery firm is move what you can to the cloud. Okay, the second key here is about the tools that you use, the software solutions that we use to perform our work, the apps that we use. These are our tools, the tools of the trade, and they are critical to our success. So imagine if all of our computers and software programs went away and we had to do this work manually. That would be horrible. So there is quite a process to determining the tools that you're going to use for your firm. So let's kind of just talk about each of those steps. First of all, there's selecting apps. There are a lot of options. There are lots of different accounting software solutions, whether they're cloud-based or desktop-centric. Hopefully, if you listen to key number one, they're cloud-based. But even from my particular perspective, even just in the QuickBooks Online ecosystem, there are hundreds and hundreds of apps to plug into QuickBooks Online that can help automate. And that's wonderful because it gives you a lot of options, but it can be very overwhelming. So you'll find that on apps.com for QuickBooks that there's a search option that helps you look for ones that would be the type that you're looking for your firm, appropriate for client accounting service firms, and research apps and look for solutions that will optimize, meaning make more efficient, all the particular parts of your accounting cycle. And you'll want to research which ones look like the right ones and then try them out. There's nothing like trying them out to find out exactly what they do and how they sync. So you'll want to compare the advantages and disadvantages of a particular app, what data it integrates to and from the accounting software, the core accounting software. This is the type of thing that you'll need to research when you're deciding which apps you're going to use, which apps are going to be the tools that you have selected for your firm, for you and your staff to use. And then you're going to want to go about mastering those apps. Once you've selected your core group of apps, then you will find, hopefully, but many of them have training programs. And most of these training programs are free. And the training programs are generally created by the app developer to teach you how to use their app. So for QuickBooks Online, for example, there's a certification program. If you use some of their most popular apps, you can get certified on each of the individual apps. And this is very helpful for learning about and understanding the integration of data to and from a particular app. This is very important to harnessing the efficiency that will create additional profit for your firm, because not only do you want to have great access and automate some manual processes in order to bring efficiency to your firm, but the more you and your staff are masters of your tools, then the more efficient you'll be when using them. Also, app-specific training programs, and again, most of them are free, they're a great way to kickstart training a new staff person. Your accounting staff may know debits and credits, but they don't necessarily know how to use the software programs you've selected to use at your firm. And your staff will definitely benefit from learning not only how to use the app, but about the integration of data between apps so that they use each app appropriately and can even troubleshoot errors. These training also often result in like a certification badge that you and your staff can show on your website or your business cards, etc. So there's a marketing side of this that will help you marketing your firm, because, well, these programs also often result in being listed as an expert on that app on their website, because businesses who find this app and don't know your firm yet may find you by looking for help on that app's website and then finding that you are an expert and certified and have a badge, and then, you know, they reach out for help. Because a lot of times these apps and the app developers are incredible at creating an efficient solution for a problem, but they're not all necessarily accounting professionals, so they really do need that accounting technology person that understands both the accounting side and the technology side. So the training programs that give you the certification badges showing you're an expert, and then even the ones that list you as an expert on their website, both of these are great marketing opportunities. But at the end of the day, it's the training on them that allows you to master the app and bring in some efficiency there. Let's talk a little bit more about integrating apps. I want to make sure that I get the point across that I want you to recognize the need to be deliberate about integrating systems. Use apps that share data with each other. Think it out, map it out, design your overall accounting solution, and pick all of the tools that you will use for your accounting cycle to deliver the services that you want to your customers. It won't just happen otherwise, and temporary solutions can become permanent, so really design the accounting solution with the tools you want. And don't be scared of apps. I see that a lot from clients and other accounting professionals just because it's new, and there's a tendency to say, oh, the core accounting software doesn't do that. You have to have an app to do that. Oh, never mind. That sounds too scary or too much or something. But the way that I see this cloud-based workflow going is that the accounting software is like the core center for a platform, and the apps that plug into it have gotten really great at integrating the data. And so if you just go about learning the app and understanding the integration, it's going to provide you with a great deal of efficiency, and therein lies the profitability. So take control of what tools your firm will use to provide the services that your firm offers. Think about a carpenter. What if a carpenter was told what tools to use on every different construction site he visited? That wouldn't make sense. The carpenter has his set of tools that he's the master of. Fits his hand well, he knows how to use it best, He's the professional there that knows the work that he's doing better than the person that he's doing the work for. So same thing for us. We need to decide for our firm which tools are best and become experts in them with our staff, and then we can roll out our services in a really high level of service, high quality way, and that is also profitable. It's much more profitable to perform your work using a core set of apps that you and your staff are experts in than it is to change apps when you jump from one client to another. So you're the accounting professional, you know best, you design the accounting system using the apps that you and your staff can use most effectively and successfully in order to maintain that profit for the firm. And keep up with apps. Keeping up is a whole nother thing. Read about new technologies and integrations. That doesn't mean that you'll want to change one of your core apps very frequently. Just sort of watch things. And the system integration has to be continually readdressed. Our world is changing at the speed of light. My partner frequently quotes her Austrian ski instructor who often said, "Keep the knees bent." So we need to be flexible and willing to adapt in this new frontier with these cloud-based tools. Okay, our third key for today is workflow, and this is a topic very near and dear to my heart. Once your staff has been trained to use the firm's core set of cloud apps, now it's time for them to get to work and perform the work that they have been assigned. And that's what I want to talk about here, workflow. This is the third and most important key to unlocking profitability in your firm. So what is workflow? Workflow is a sequence of steps that make up a process for performing work. And you must manage the workflow in your accounting practice. You need to organize all of the individual steps on all of the apps you use, the tools you use in your firm to perform all of the services that you'll be providing for clients. Every firm needs to start by defining the services it provides. Can clients just come and ask you if you walk dogs too? No, you don't walk dogs. You're an accounting firm. So there are so many services that you provide and then others that you don't provide. And you want to be clear about that. Because when you sign up a new client, you want to perform services for them that you already have a process for how to do. So define the services your firm is going to provide, and that means documenting procedures and creating step-by-step checklists that spell out all of the details for the firm and for your staff. You're not sharing this with the clients. They just need to know what service gets performed. They don't need to know how to do it. But you need to spell out all the details for how to do it for you and your staff. Of the best practices, of the unique techniques that you've developed over the countless hours of experience that you and your firm have gained serving clients. This part is difficult. It's very tedious, but you have to figure it out here. You can't skip this step. You have to spell it all out, exactly what apps to use. I'm not asking you to rewrite the training programs. That was the key before this. That's where each of you and your staff get trained officially on how to use an app. That's not what I'm saying here. Here I'm saying, how will you use that app? On those steps, it's assuming that you know how to navigate to that, and it's assuming that you understand how to use that app. But these are the step-by-step instructions for each piece of the work that you're providing for your clients. So spell it out, exactly which apps to use, complete instructions for how your firm will perform the work, step by step, click by click. And if you don't figure it out here, you will lose efficiency, profitability, and scalability. Do you want to sell a service that you or your staff is going to make up as they go along? No, that's not profitable. Not usually. It's a bit of a gamble, maybe. So anyway, this is your firm's knowledge capital. Your knowledge capital is your secret sauce. This is what you're selling. The firm will use this knowledge capital to create revenue. And so this is the core of your business. This is what you want to have defined, and then you hang out your sign and start operations. Now, Arrow Workflow is an app. It's a cloud-based app. By app, I just mean application. It's a software program, and it runs from a browser. Jump on any device, go to a browser, and go to Arrow's website and log in. It's a workflow management system. It is built to organize a firm's resources in such a way as to transform knowledge capital, your staff, your computers, and your apps, the tools you've selected to use, into profitable services. So service delivery is very critical to a client accounting services firm's profitability. Not only do we want to deliver the superior services that we promised our clients, but we want to make a profit on them. Defining the work and then scheduling it at the proper recurrence interval assigned to the proper client and assigned to the proper staff person to perform creates a workflow management system, and it's the basis for your firm's success. And remember, if you're thinking about value pricing, you must have a workflow management system, because if you fix the price, then you must control your costs. Arrow Workflow app clearly informs every person in the firm exactly what they need to do today, how to do it, when they need to do it, and it also tracks time automatically as your staff are working, and it provides all the resources your staff needs to perform their work consistently, effectively, and efficiently. It provides resources such as step-by-step instructions, client passwords, links to websites to perform the work. If staff needs something to get their work done, you want it to be one click away if possible, as close as possible. Arrow also organizes all of the work that has been assigned to all staff on all your clients in such a way as to give the firm visibility. Now management or principals have a bird's eye view to watch the firm at work and to see clearly what work needs to be done on a given day or week or whatever. It helps to manage your firm and your client expectations realistically. It helps to measure the labor resource and the workload that's associated with, for example, a fixed price engagement. It helps you handle scope creep, because if your staff have set up a recurring task for each of the clients for all the work and the services that you agreed to in your fixed fee pricing engagements, and a client asks for something out of scope, then somebody needs to enter it into the workflow management for it to happen, or it doesn't happen. And so there's going to be a stopping point there. In order for it to get entered, someone's going to have access to do that, and they're going to think about whether there's an additional charge or not. So it helps very much if you have all of your regular services spelled out, because those are the only ones you and your staff are going to perform. So scope creep is a little less likely. The Arrow also helps to perform your work as a firm proactively, scheduled, instead of reactively. Arrow helps to determine whether you can take on new clients. You can see what work you have scheduled. Also to determine when you may need to hire new staff. And it helps you allocate your firm resources ahead of time and see how much work is assigned to staff. Sometimes you need to batch reassign work when one of your staff is going out on vacation. Maybe next week Teresa's going on vacation. I can go into Arrow, instantly put in the dates she's gone, and reassign all of her work to one person, or divvy it up and assign different parts of the work to different people, however I want to handle it. So that brings us to the end of today's webinar. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. In summary, the 3 keys to a profitable CAS firm are to harness the technology of cloud-based apps, to take control of your firm and your clients' accounting systems and curate the tools that your firm will use to provide services. Pick your tools. And finally, to use a workflow management system to manage your practice before it manages you. So be intentional about your business and its success. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's a screenshot here of our pricing page. But you're welcome to just go to our website, arrowworkflow.com, and you can find pricing and all sorts of other information. You can also sign up for a session with us if you want a demo. We're happy to show you that. We are found in QuickBooks Online's App Store. So we are an approved app, and we do integrate with QuickBooks Online for your firm. All right, that's the end of today's webinar. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful day.